I mean, it's Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points. I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Did you just call him Spoon? He doesn't even look like Spoon. You did not wake up from a nap 15 minutes ago because I just saw you on your show. Greetings, everybody.
Why you make your free throws.
Hope you had a nice Monday. Let's start with some good news. I haven't lost a college basketball bet all year. Look, guys,
I've only lost one.
Yeah, but that's one more than I've lost. Guys, there's an art to this, and some people just have it. I'm doing a bit right now. I placed one bet and it won. Obviously, I'm joking. But yeah, I placed St. Bonnie's and it won. But yeah, I saw all you guys had to go. Toast went 7-1 today. Scoop went 5-2. I think a lot of people had nice opening days in college. But did you finish 7-1, Toast?
I'm going to be finishing... I'll tell you in 2 seconds. I think it's going to be 9-2. Sorry, 8-3. 8-3 or 9-2, depending on Seattle. Count UCLA as a loss, but Seattle's up 11. I have them minus 11 with like 2:50 left.
Okay, so it's going to be right now you're 8-2, so it's going to be 9-2. Right. Hey, hell of an opening day.
We'll take it. Yeah, regardless, even if both lose, I'm still up like 2 units, so I can't complain.
Good way to start the year. Trev, shout out to Fairfield with the cover.
Oh my God, dude. They were leading with like 40 seconds left.
No, they weren't. They were winning the game.
Dude.
They were winning. They were up like 17-2 out the gate.
I didn't even know that. I just saw the final score. So they were actually winning.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. They were, I think Penn State maybe held the lead for 5 total minutes of that game. Maybe.
And you had like what, plus 900 money line?
950. Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't know they were winning. I just saw the final score. Damn.
Yeah, it would have been brutal. Would have been an extra
who had a worse day? Penn State fans or Auburn fans?
Oh, Auburn without a doubt.
Wait. Auburn lost their home opener?
They won by like 5 in overtime to Bethune-Cookman.
Oh my God. To Bethune?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
TCU lost at home. It was like 21-point favorites.
Boise State lost to Hawaii Pacific.
Wait, TCU better not be program wide, because TCU this weekend is one of my favorite college football bets. It better not be contagious, man. Just keep that in the basketball program. All right, we got 8.
Shout out Kansas and the ATM UWGB back open for business, baby.
I thought you were 2-0, Kyle. I thought you bet Kansas.
No, I went to last night and freaking I'm limited on MGM, so I couldn't bet it, and it was the only 28.5 available. So I was like, I'll just bet it later. I forgot. But getting limited on college basketball sides is such bullshit. All right, that's like, dude, I do everything right. I only bet sides and totals. I do everything. I abide by the rules. That shouldn't happen to me. Anyway,
I agree.
We got 8 games to talk about, and then Trevor will get back over to his circus show over there. Evansville, Purdue was checked, and I don't know who checked this one.
It was me. I checked a couple games just because I wanted to talk about like the teams in general. I probably will make a small bet on Purdue minus 30.5. Don't really have a problem laying these bigger numbers, especially this first couple weeks of the season with these good teams versus bad teams. Obviously, UCLA it looks like the only bet that's going to bite me in the butt, but I laid almost 30 with Gonzaga today. That was a no sweat winner. Sorry to the group for that. Texas Southern was never live. Don't ever listen to Eric Shipley. Just want to let you guys know. If you're tailing that, you're just going off wrong. But as far as this game is concerned, I have no problem laying it. More than not that I don't think anybody needs me to tell you guys that Purdue is very good. Obviously, they get probably the best player in college basketball in Braden Smith back. They have TKR. They still have Fletcher Lawyer, CJ Cox, Oscar Clough. I mean, this team is absolutely loaded. But Evansville was, not great last year, obviously, compared to Purdue. But they lost, like, they only have like 5 or 6 guys coming back. 3 of those guys don't really play at all. One of them came from Pitt. One of them came from Miami. One of the guys came from Vanderbilt. So maybe that's like a little something there. But I mean, these guys don't really play very much. I just have a feeling that we're gonna have Purdue show us why they're the number 1 team in the country. I just don't see how Evansville gets stops. Maybe it'd be a little bit different story if some of these guys are a little bit more experienced, but they're going to be shot into roles where they haven't asked to do yet. I just think it's a little bit much to ask against.
This wasn't a game that you picked, but do you agree blowout here, Trevor?
Yeah, this is blowout city. Evansville doesn't have the size to contend with Purdue. Their tallest guy's like 6'10", and then 6'9", and if they play the freshman, he's 6'11". He probably is skin and bones from Australia, would be my guess. Purdue's got 4 bigs they can rotate in. You're gonna have TKR Kaufman run on the floor with Lawyer, Braden Smith, and CJ Cox. This isn't gonna be pretty. This is gonna be similar to like Kansas, Green Bay. This is just gonna be pretty brutal. I know his little brother Evansville going in, so maybe a little extra juice, but that's not going to last. Purdue's just got too much size and athleticism to allow Evansville to hang around. This is going to be a blowout winner.
And someone asked, well, actually, he deleted the comment, but he asked about UMass Akron in college football. I actually went over in that one, 48.5. I do think UMass can complete some throws, but I think Akron should put up a big number. So, I mean, I don't necessarily hate UMass to cover the 10 or the 10.5, but I'm on over 48.5 in that one. That's tomorrow night. I actually uploaded a video where I go through that game if you want to check it out. All right, Lindenwood, Texas Tech, another beauty selection here by Toast. So you're going with another big favorite.
Yeah, I don't know if I actually placed this one. Again, just more of like wanted to point out that I know that especially like as far as in the Big 12 and stuff that that Houston gets a lot of love, but this Texas Tech team is very, very good. And JT Toppin is probably one of the best players in college basketball as well. I know I just kind of said that about Braden Smith, but Braden Smith is one of those guys that he kind of does everything. JT Toppin is like one of the best offensive threats in the country. And I really think that the more time that these guys get played together, it's going to be more and more better. But again, it's more of a fact. It's not necessarily the love of Texas Tech is more of a fave of Lindenwood personally. So it would only be Texas Tech here. I clicked them more or less to say that I think this is the type of team that I think could be in the Final Four. So if you're looking for futures and stuff like that, Texas Tech is definitely one of those teams on my list with Toppin.
Well, we're seeing so Texas Tech dumped a lot of money into their athletic department this year, and we're seeing it on the football team. I mean, Texas Tech never has an elite defense. That they pretty much purchased the best defensive line money can buy from the transfer portal, and it's working. So that's through the whole athletic department, I believe. So there's a lot of money flowing through Texas Tech right now.
And Lindenwood's one of these kind of like St. Thomas and stuff. This is like their 4th year in Division I. They played Oklahoma to start the year last year, and we all know how bad Oklahoma was at times last year. They lost 125-49. Then they went to a neutral against the next Division I opponent that they saw against New Orleans, who's 341 in KenPom, and they lost that game by double digits as well. So just really not a good basketball team.
TV Jones, not one of your games, but do you agree dog walking here?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. Lindenwood is experienced. They got 6 guys coming back, and they improved from 9 to 16 wins last year and returned a decent amount of production from that team. Texas Tech lost some guys, but, they're still Texas Tech. It's at home. It should be a pretty raucous environment, even if it is just Lindenwood at home. But I lean Lindenwood with the points. No way in hell would I be taking Lindenwood to cover on the road, but I think it's just it's getting a tad big. Maybe it gets up bigger, and I'll take like a 33, 34.5, and somehow we middle this and they lose by 32 or something. But
just to give you guys an example of the step up in competition this is for Lindenwood, their next game after Texas Tech, and this is not a joke, St. Louis Pharmacy.
Oh, the Pharmacy.
Pharmacy's got
making the rounds. They're making the rounds.
I might take Pharmacy plus the 9.5 in that one.
If you can find a line on that.
Bovada sometimes opens up those lines. Like they're not open, but once the game starts, they'll throw them in the live section. Oh, I've been a degenerate at work and just absolutely murdered some of these numbers. Army will kill like biblical studies by like 50 points. Like it's crazy. Like you can get like an Army minus 9.5 and they'll win by 40.
Speaking of work, did you watch the Queens game at work this morning?
Oh, I had them all on.
Yo, did you see the one guy commented? He commented about he commented like about halfway through the St. Bonnie's game. It was like, these idiots took Queens and St. Bonnie's. Like I'm up fading, like one of those typical comments. St. Bonnie's came back and won. He deleted it and recommented. These idiots took Queens. I'm up like as if we can't, like on the studio app. I can see every comment they left, and like he can't see that I can actually see the original comment.
Got.
TV Jones.
Some of the comments were on fire today, though.
Yeah, whenever I've got a pretty good feel for sports betting digital traffic, man. And whenever there's a standalone game to start, like remember when there's a standalone game to start, an early game, if there's a Wednesday baseball slate and there's 1 p.m. game, if you lose that one, they're pissed. And because we and like was always like, why do they care so much about that one game? It's because they parlayed everything and their parlay is ruined by that first game. That's why. And me and Toast figured that out about 2 years ago. So anyway, TV Jones, this is one of your games. UNC Greensboro, Kansas State.
Yeah, Greensboro coming in. They've been a class of their conference. They've been a damn good team for a couple of years now. But you lose everybody. Your head coach Mike Jones is gone. He's not on the sidelines no more. This is an entirely different new roster. Kansas State still has Tang and company. They got rid of their cancers, Doug McDaniels and company, some of those other guys, and they brought in some great players like PJ Haggerty, just to name one. Coming in, Kansas State's offense is electric. I think Greensboro really struggles to score here in the Octagon of Doom, and Kansas State pulls away. I like Kansas State laying the 16. I'm debating it. Elliott is a Kansas State guy, and he said if you like Kansas State, just take the over because their defense is very suspect, and they're going to put up 90 points. So he likes the over. I can't really argue with him, but I'd be laying it with Kansas State. I think they win this game by 25.
So you go Kansas State or over.
Yeah.
So I'll put over up, and I'll put Kansas State as your pick. By the way, the Hat Man is in the comments. You got Sixers on the road in Chicago tomorrow night. Hat Man, if you're sticking to your guns. I don't know. He's kind of bailed on it. Remember last time he was like, I'm not fading it.
Hold on. I did receive a hat. He said, I hate the Dodgers on everything. I don't know. Just seen the stream. Hat pick fading Seattle Kraken hat. So Blue Jays up. Yo, I don't know. I'm lost.
Yeah.
I must have worn a Kraken hat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, do you Toast? This isn't one of your games. Did you have any thoughts on this one?
I was thinking over myself as well. I'm not sure if I'm there with Huff that Kansas State's not going to be able to play defense. I mean, Haggerty's pretty good defensively. That Obi Igawara, or however you say his name, is pretty decent. They got that McGriff kid from UNC Wilmington. I don't know if he's a really good defensive guy, but I know that he can score. And as far as Greensboro is concerned, I mean, they don't have anybody that can play defense. They have one guy, that Kazonis guy or whatever, that is even remotely decent at playing defense. So it would only be over for me personally.
All right, let's move on to the next one. I don't know enough to even weigh in, but I'm sure I'll find it.
Greensboro, like Trevor said, Greensboro just lost so much. That's another reason why they want to play the over. Yeah. They lost Atwell. They lost Davis. The Polite kid, or Palat, however you say his last name. But yeah, anyway.
Daniel Anderson saying SoCon is going to be historically bad. Is that Greensboro's conference, SoCon?
Yeah. The Greensboro or the SoCon got rated in the offseason, and then a lot of coaching firms.
And they also have it's like Furman and Samford and stuff like that. Some of these, I mean, a lot of those guys, they get, like Trevor said, they just get rated. So if there's a good point guard, he's only there for a year, especially now.
Yeah.
All right, Oral Roberts, Oklahoma State, a team I have some history with. Those of you that don't know, just Google Kyle Kirms, Oral Roberts.
I always, what's funny is I forget, and then somebody always will say something like, "Oh, what did Kyle pick on Oral Roberts?" And then I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, Yeah, but anyway, that was.
You should show us.
All right, I'll bring it up on the screen. This was 2021. This is March of 2021.
Wild.
Yeah.
The Wild West is what it was.
So 3.5 years ago. I guess 3.5 years ago. Yeah. All right. This is another one of Trevor's games. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Oklahoma State, we've gotten accustomed to just being a basement dweller in the Big 12, and this team's going to be different. I'm drawing a blank on the coach's name offhand, but he had a decent year last year with what he was given. Nothing much on the roster. They still were decent. They beat Iowa State at home. Like they had flashes, but the flashes were so few and far between that it really didn't matter. But there was still an improvement on Oklahoma State's season, and now he comes back. He brings in more talent. He got Anthony Roy from Green Bay, who was the nation's leading scorer. He dropped 40 on Auburn in a scrimmage game, and Oral Roberts here. I'm not high on this team whatsoever. I'm actually fairly high on Oklahoma State. I think they have a good year. I'm willing to lay the 19 with Oklahoma State. I like the over also. I think both teams are going to play some tempo here. Oklahoma State should be able to get whatever they want at will. Will Oral Roberts do their part? Who knows? I'm not sure what this team total will be. Otherwise, I would have maybe looked at that. But I like the over. I think Oklahoma State puts up 90 plus in this one. So it's just a matter of, can we get 65 or so from Oral Roberts to get over? And I think we can. But I think Oklahoma State wins this game comfortably. And they just put it on a showing. I mean, they've been so bad for so long. Now that they got a respectable team with an opponent they can absolutely drill, I think they put it on them and give them their $200,000 and kick them to the curb after this game.
So just the team total will be somewhere around 69.5 based on
for Oklahoma State.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Oral
Roberts. I was gonna say I'm putting every single dollar in all of my accounts.
It'll be around 89.5.
Yeah. So that's right around the 90-65 scoring area. I think you go over rather than under on that. I think they're going to get what they want at will.
89.
Like I said. Yeah, I would go over. I think Oklahoma State gets what they want and just drills Oral Roberts. They've been going through purgatory for so long now that they're gonna have a decent team. I think they just run it up and have some fun with it.
What are your thoughts here, Toast?
It would be, I don't want to play their team total. It would only be Oklahoma State for me. Since Max Asmus left, this Oral Roberts team has just been in an absolute free fall. I mean, even going back to 2024, I know they started to win some games early, but at the end of 2024, they got absolutely murdered. And then into 2025, I mean, I think what they have, like 3 or 4 wins last year. I'm being dead serious. So, they in early last season, they lost to Minnesota by 25. They lost to Tulsa by double digits. They lost to Belmont by 10, Mississippi by 32. It is. So I'm just not in a position. I'd have to see something from Oral Roberts, and not to mention the fact that, like Trevor said, Oklahoma State's kind of loaded. I mean, Anthony Roy, Victorious Miller, Isaiah Coleman. Is Christian and Isaiah both brothers? Do you know?
I don't know, but I'm going to say I think so.
Both of the Coleman kids and the Jalen Curry kid. I mean, all those guys can score at will, especially against this Oral Roberts team. So yeah, it would only be Oklahoma State for me. 90 points is a lot.
Someone asked about the parlay video. I don't. Is there one where I talk about just parlays?
I think
I did like a CLV one. I did an efficient market one. I'll check. I might have done one where I just talk about parlays.
I feel like it was after one of the lives.
Okay. Hold on. I'll check while you guys are talking about this next game.
Anyway,
which is Bob Morris. Trevor, another TV Jones game. Are you taking? I know you're a Bob Morris guy.
I was last year. Bobby Morris was an absolute wagon. They were covering machines. Now they got raided. They lost everything, and their key player Alfaro Figueroa, whatever he was, the Horizon Player of the Year, happens to be on Iowa now, along with Ben McCollum from Drake, Bennett Sturts, and some other guys from Drake here. And McCollum was an Iowa kid. He was an Iowa fan growing up, so now he's coaching this team. their roster is far superior to Robert Morris. I mean, they lost almost everything. You get McCollum at home. First game is his Iowa head coach, and the fact that they kind of went through some rough patches the last couple of years. McCollum actually plays defense and has his guys play defense, something Fran McCaffrey didn't give a shit about. Their practices would just show up and just do shoot around for 2 hours and then leave the gym. I think Iowa really suffocates Bob Morris. I think Bob Morris struggles to score, and I think Iowa just puts it on him. I think they'd run him out the gym. So I like a lot of these favorites tomorrow for the most part. So give me Iowa -20. And I think that Figueroa is going to have a pretty big game against his former team here. It's not going to be really anybody that was around when he played there to kind of know the ins and outs and how to slow him down and whatnot. So I think Iowa just runs RMU amok, and it's a bad day to be a Bobby Moe fan.
It's a bad day to be a Bobby Moe fan, he says. Toast, any thoughts on this one?
I was actually kind of leaning the other way. I agree with a lot of the things that Trevor said. The only pushback that I have is you have Ben McCollum, who was fantastic at Drake his 1 year there. But what did we know about Drake last year? They walked up and down the floor as much as possible, and they had turnover issues. So being a first game as an Iowa coach, maybe you get a bump there and whatnot. And again, I'm not trying to make a case that I think that Robert Morris is going to be a good basketball game. I 100% agree with Trevor. They're going to be a bad basketball team. But at the same time, I'm personally not trying to get in the boat to lay 20 with the team in Iowa with a first-year head coach that is known to play one of the slowest paces in college basketball. So for me, it would only be Robert Morris. But again, I'm not betting it, and I'm only not betting it because of the pick.
Well, but I mean, McCollum, he's been around with some of these guys on this team. They followed him, and he's had success everywhere he goes. I mean, he came from D2 up to Drake and won the Missouri Valley in year one. He's a damn good coach. He's going to run circles. He's going to run circles around Bobby Morris. It's big day for Iowa. This is not your granddad's Iowa team.
Wow,
this is going to be
a Wisconsin fan is bullish on Iowa.
Interesting.
Yep, unfortunately.
Badger
I like
Nation,
Ben McCollum.
Badger Nation would be displeased to hear you talk like this.
Hey! By the way, we put up like 95 today. Offense, no problem.
So guard's not on the hot seat anymore.
Well, Campbell did have us on the ropes for a little bit, but we did pull away.
The ropes. Oh, Campbell had you on the ropes. All right. Then yeah, he's still on the hot seat. Can't be on the ropes.
Hey, UTRGV almost beat us the game before we played Arizona last year, and we came out and just bent over Arizona.
Here we go. I found the parlay video, by the way. I'll play it at the end. We've got Texas Duke in what is probably the game of the day. Toast, you know what to do.
Play with the Dukies?
No. Okay, you forgot.
No, I didn't forget Rodney Terry.
Rodney Terry as a dog never failed us ever. I'm betting this. I don't even know one thing about this year's Texas team. Rodney Terry as a dog. Doesn't matter. It's Rodney Terry. He's still there, right?
He doesn't coach there. That's what I was trying to say.
Let me take it away. Where'd he go? Why isn't he there? Let me Google Rodney Terry.
He got canned. He got canned.
He got fired. Just like he should have.
What do you mean? We talked. I'm pretty sure we talked about this live on one of the shows.
No, me and Kyle, when we were getting points with Rodney Terry for the last 2 years, was just an absolute cash cow. There's no question about it.
I don't know how this guy loses his job.
I remember you guys were all about it. I don't know how he loses his job.
This guy was a cover machine as a dog.
Same. It's like
what are these teams
he's
actually?
like the Mike Tomlin of college basketball. You give him points, and you're looking at 85% ATS.
What are these teams looking for? They're actually trying to win something? Just cover. He did his job. He did his job. This man covered.
You're trying to win national championships? That's stupid. Just cover the damn numbers.
This man was a cover machine. How could they get rid of him? Wow. So does so who's the new coach?
Sean Miller. Xavier.
Yeah. Let me Google him to see if he still has he has the same grit.
He's the guy that
he's currently sweating through his PJs.
Duke
he's the guy that got in trouble at Arizona for paying players and stuff.
Yeah,
not that everybody doesn't get paid now.
He paid players.
What threw his assistants under the bus?
No, I'm saying I like guys that look for an edge.
Yeah, well, that's him. That is him.
Toast, are you betting this?
Yes. I'm going to be betting Duke personally. I get that Duke lost Cooper Flagg and whatnot, but I'm not trying to say that Cameron Boozer is as good as Cooper Flagg. I don't believe that, but he's very close, and he is a very, very good basketball player. And not to mention the fact that, again, they have Isaiah Evans, Malik Brown, Caleb Foster, that Patrick Nanuba kid. I just don't really think that Texas is that good personally. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Trevor would disagree with me with that, but I'm not a big Sean Miller fan to start with. And I think defensively, Texas can be okay. But if really all you have to worry about is, in my eyes, like Jordan Pope and Tremont Mark as offensively, I don't really think it matters. And honestly, with Duke and how big they are, I think this is going to be a really tall task for Sean Miller with a whole new cast of characters in this Texas team. So maybe if this game was in Texas, it would help. But this game's in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is like a pseudo home game for Duke. So I think Duke is able to win this game by double digits.
What do you think of TV Jones? What do you think of the post Rodney Terry Longhorns?
What did this line open up at? Anybody know by chance? Cool. It was a much needed firing. That's for sure. I mean, he had a ton of talent. Ton of talent every year. Okay, so it's moving. Yeah. He always underperformed, but
I disagree.
I just look
not as a dog.
Not as a dog.
His favorite.
Unless he plays LSU. Let's not forget that one.
Oh my god,
that was a tough one.
I remember. I looked at the line. I just glanced at it. My initial lean was Texas. I mean, Sean Miller's a respectable guy. He's a good coach. He's good at X's and O's. Finds a way to hang around. But at the end of the day, this is a home game for Duke, basically. I mean, the Boozer twins are there. Like, Duke has a bunch of pieces. This line, I also look at it from the Duke side, and it kind of gives me the BYU Xavier or Villanova vibes from tonight a little bit. So I'm not sure how I play this, but just gun to my head, it would probably be Duke. I mean, it's basically going to be a home game for them. This place is going to be 95% Duke fans. And Sean Miller's got a new roster and everything else they got to deal with. Duke is Duke, and just being where it is, I would lean Duke, but I haven't fired on anything on this yet. I haven't really fully looked into it. I got no real strong take, but just being in the where the game is, I would kind of lean Duke.
I'm putting
that's
Texas
what pushed me over the edge. I was just gonna say, sorry, Kyle. I was gonna say that's the only thing that pushed me over the edge is that this game was in North Carolina. If this game was in Vegas, I don't really love Duke as much personally.
No.
All right.
There's a good chance I end up on Duke. Like, I'm not 100% sure. Just gun to my head, knee jerk right now.
Long Beach State against San Diego State. If San Diego State's basketball team is anything like their football team, they are a wagon this year.
I mean, they're always pretty good.
Agreed.
Their football team might be it's the best team in the conference in the Mountain West.
The best?
The best, as in better than Boise. They're unbeaten in conference. Boise just lost, so they're going to tap dance into the Mountain West championship game.
Boise athletic department is in shambles right now. They just lost to Hawaii Pacific. Their football team can't win a game. You don't want to be on a Boise State side right now. I'm just telling you guys.
You don't want to do it. So TV Jones, is this one of your games?
Yeah. I'm really high on San Diego State. I put them in my top 25 preseason list and have them winning the Mountain West. I think they're really good. Now, Long Beach did lose at Devin Askew. They ridded themselves of a cancer, but they didn't really gain anything. You lost a bunch of players. You added stuff, and now you just San Diego State's always a wagon. And Long Beach State, I'm not really too high on them. Like, sometimes they can catch teams at their spot because it's such a dead energy and no energy gym that it kind of just throws teams off. But San Diego State at home opening this up, they reloaded their roster. Injuries kind of got them a little bit last year, but they come in healthy. I think they run them out the gym again. I like the heavy favorites tomorrow. I think these are just good spots for them to run teams, run roughshod on teams, and start the year out feeling good. I'm high in Arizona, San Diego State, so I'd be willing to lay the 20 with them. Debating it, haven't fired on it yet, but it's sitting there staring at me in my bet slips here.
You folks are taking a lot of favorites in this video. Toast, you agree?
Yeah.
I don't agree. I'll just put it that way. It makes better TV. I don't agree. You can put Long Beach upstate for me. I'm not betting it. But two things for me. Well, we'll start with the rosters. Obviously, San Diego State's an absolute wagon. Miles Bird is probably one of the better players in the country. Reese Dixon Waters is very good. BJ Davis is very good. Sean Newman can score, but he can't play defense. Pretty much everybody on San Diego State can play defense. That's their identity. Long Beach State really can't score, but a lot of their guys, that Michael Viesco or Viero kid, then Dallas Washington, Isaiah Lewis, the Johnson Senior kid, there's another guy, Mastarovich or whatever. All these guys grade out really good defensively. And that matters to me because neither one of these teams, whether it be Chris Acker in Long Beach State, because remember, Long Beach State used to be coached by Dan Munson, and then now they switched over to Acker. And that's completely different styles of play. Munson likes to play really fast. You're looking at, 14 and a half, 15 seconds per possession. With Acker, you're looking at 19 to 20. And that really matters to me in a possession game. A 20-point game when you have San Diego State, another team that really likes to play through their defense and doesn't like to push this pace. And San Diego State's never really been a good three-point shooting team or a good free throw shooting team. Obviously, there's some new players on there, so that might help. But last year, San Diego State was 32% from three-point range, and they were less than 67% from the free throw line. That was 338th in the country. Obviously, that changes year to year. I'm not trying to make a case that they're going to be one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country again. But in game one, I'm not laying 20 points until I actually see it, start seeing some shots go through the hoop. So it would only be Long Beach State for me. But again, I'm not betting it.
So basically, you're calling TV Jones a fraud with this pick.
I didn't want to say it, but
But yes, I am saying that.
But yes, correct.
Haters gonna hate.
UT Martin, UNLV. Weird pick from Toast here. Where are you going with this one?
UNLV minus the points here. UNLV is one of these teams that I think could be an absolute sleeper in this conference personally. I know that obviously getting a new coach doesn't help, but there's one thing that I like about Josh Pastner is that most of his teams can usually play defense. He's kind of like a defensive guru, and I think that really helps with this UNLV team. Not that I think that they're going to, win a national championship or anything, but I did make a small bet on them to win their conference at a huge plus price. I think that Hamilton kid is one of the better scorers in the country. He's in there with a handful of kids that's rated really, really high. AJ Green can really score the basketball. He can't defend at all, but they've got 4 or 5 guys that are, 2 guys that are really good offensively, 3 or 4 guys that are somewhat average, and only a couple of them don't play defense. And I think that's going to really matter against this UT Martin team that I know that it's going to be the 3rd year of the Jeremy Schulman project, but at the same time, I just think that this is going to be a really huge step up in competition for them. And if I'm getting a UNLV team that, like I said, that I think is going to be turning some heads this year, there's no question asked about that. I think this is going to be an easy number for them to cover. Keep in mind, Tennessee Martin doesn't have like anybody offensively at all. That's a positive. There's not one guy on this roster that I can be like, oh yeah, he can get a bucket for you. Not one. They're all like negatively rated on any website that you look at. So like, it's just really hard for me to believe that they're going to be able to put points on the board. I think UNLV, this could be my Andy's dog walk of the day, as you would say. I love UNLV tomorrow.
TV Jones, do you agree with the dog walking?
Yeah, I can't really argue with it. UNLV's looking good. On paper and some of what I've seen, and they're up there to potentially win the Mountain West, or at least put up a fight for it. So I don't hate it. UT Martin, the Skyhawks, never a team I really feel comfortable taking points with when they go on the road just to catch a check. They just kind of they never really perform. So laying 17.5 with the UNLV, if you had asked, a year or two ago, you'd call the number, but this is a much different team. I think they have the potential to do that too. So it would be UNLV or nothing for me in this game.
Just for quick context, Tennessee Martin played 2 games last year on the road to start the year against really bad opponents. One of them, Illinois State, they lost 113-55. Then they played North Alabama. They lost 87-69. Dog walk.
All right, Trevor, you going back to your show?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's over in the Pump Fake Pod. I'm going to play the parlay video for the guy who asked. If you want to hear me talk about parlays for a few minutes and hear me nerd out, you can stick around. But yeah, that's called the Pump Fake Pod. That's where Trevor's going. Talk to you guys later. All right, real quick, got a comment in yesterday about parlays. And before I get into it, I want to be clear. This guy seems like a cool guy. So by no means am I taking shots at this guy. I don't want it to come off like I'm calling this guy an idiot or anything like that. He has commented plenty of times before. He seems like a cool guy, and he's usually positive, just having fun. So I want to be clear. By no means am I calling this guy an idiot. You'd be surprised how many people don't really understand the math behind this. So we're going to talk about parlays real quick. And we're going to use minus 110 bets for the example. It's just the easiest to visualize because it's the standard casino hold that you see on recreational sports books. So for this example, we're going to use minus 110 bets. But just to be clear, the same math applies for, minus 130 bets, plus 150. It doesn't matter. The same math applies for any bets. So we're going to take the Eagles minus 6.5 at minus 110. This is our made-up bet that we're using for the example. Obviously, if this line closes minus 110 on both sides, the implied probability here would be 50%. If you were to place $100 on this bet and win, you would win $90.91. If you lose the full 100. We know the casino has an edge. Duh, that's not shocking. So if you were to place this bet 2,000 times, you place this $100 bet 2,000 times based on the implied probability. There's 1,000 wins and 1,000 losses. Your 1,000 wins would yield $90,909.09. Your 1,000 losses would lose $100K even. Total earnings minus $9,090.91. So the casino's hold here is 4.55%. And that's the standard hold with recreational sports books. So the casino's hold, that's what it's called, the hold. That's the advantage the casino has over you when you bet. Now, let's build us a parlay. Let's add a leg. Let's say Rams plus 3.5 minus 110. Again, we're using minus 110 bets for the example, but the same math applies to any bets. So we're adding Rams plus 3.5, pairing it with Eagles minus 6.5. Our parlay is going to pay plus 264. Our implied probability obviously drops to 25%. Two legs, both with the implied probability of 50%, yields us 25%. If you win this bet for $100, you'll get paid out $264.40. Sounds nice. If you lose, you will lose $100. If you were to place this bet 2,000 times, you would win 500 of them based on the implied probability, and those 500 wins would yield you $132,200. Your 1,500 losses, however, would cost you $150K, which brings the overall earnings to minus $17,800. The casinos hold 8.9%. You see, you placed $2,100 bets, same as the first example. You lost almost double the money. By adding a leg to your parlay, by taking a single bet and adding a leg to the parlay, you gave the casino almost double the advantage. The casino's hold went from 4.55% to 8.9%. But you know what? We're not done yet. Let's add another leg. We've got Eagles minus 6.5, Rams plus 3.5, and we're adding Steelers minus 1.5. Now our parlay is going to pay plus 596. Starting to look pretty sweet, right? Plus 596. Our implied probability drops to 12.5%. If you win this bet and place $100 on it, you will get paid $595.60. If you lose, obviously, you would lose the $100. So let's do that same exercise. If you were to place this $100 parlay 2,000 times based on our implied probability, you would win 250 of them. And those 250 wins at plus 596 would yield you $148,900. The problem is you're going to lose 1,750 of them based on the implied probability. Obviously, those 1,750 losses would cost you $175K, bringing our overall earnings to minus $26,100. So we're placing $2,100 bets. We're doing 3-leg parlays instead of straights, instead of 2-leg parlays. Going to finish down $26,100. The casino's hold here, 13.05%. So you see, by adding another leg, you've given the casino even more of an advantage, 13.05%. And let's take it one step further. You're adding a 4th leg now. Falcons plus 2.5 at minus 110. Our parlay is now plus 1225, dropping our implied probability, our hit rate, our implied hit rate, I should say, to 6.25%. Winning this bet will pay you $1,224.70. Sounds pretty dope, right? You lose, you only lose 100. How is that not a good decision? Well, based on the implied probability, our 125 wins out of 2,000 would pay us $153,087.50. Our losses, $187,500. Earnings are now $34,412.50 in the red. The casino's hold on this four-leg parlay is 17.21%. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, Kyle, I don't really understand what the casino hold is. 17.21%. What does that mean? So I'm going to deliver that information to you in a way you can understand. So let's bring up a normal NFL. This is actually a real line. I think this is week 1. I believe it's sitting here right now. Eagles -7, minus 110. Cowboys +7 at minus 110. In this example, we have the standard 4.55% casino hold. $100 will yield you $90.91 in winnings. We already talked about that. That's the standard right there. Now take a look at that same exact bet, but we're going to increase the casino's hold to 17.21%. The Cowboys and Eagles at +7 and -7 will be sitting at minus 142 with a 17.21% hold, and a $100 bet would only yield you $70.42. So when you place these four-leg parlays, you're not really doing the math, but you're not getting paid out what you should be. Now, here's why we can't just make the blanket statement of all parlays are bad, even though in 99% of instances that's true. Here's why we can't make the blanket statement. It is possible to build a profitable parlay. Here's how it would work. I mean, let's take our same four legs. If you got the Eagles -6.5 and it closes at -7, then the casino hold goes from 4.55% against you to about 3% in your favor. Now, it's tough to calculate because a half point, 6.5 to 7, you need to look at the individual game. A half point of value in a game with a total like 32.5, like a Browns-Steelers game in the snow, versus a Chiefs-Ravens game where the total might be 61.5. Obviously, not all half points are created equally. So based on this example, I can't give you an exact edge, but let's say it's 3%. That's a decent estimation. If you get Rams +3.5 and it closes at +3, if you get Steelers at -1.5 and it closes at -3, if you get Falcons +2.5 and it closes at +1, then your parlay would be plus EV because your implied probability would jump from the 6.25% we used earlier to about 8.8%. Again, these are just estimations. I can't calculate it without looking at the actual games. So let's bring up our example, $2,100 bets with an 8.8% implied probability. We're winning 176 of these now out of 2,000, which is going to yield us over $215K, and our earnings are in the green, way in the green. $33,147. So in this example, this is a profitable parlay. Here's the thing. The chances that you're going to find four legs of a parlay on the same sports book, and here's the kicker, at the same exact time, because remember, parlays, you got to place them all at once, it's extremely rare. I mean, anyone who's really doing this seriously is line shopping. They're not placing all their bets on one sports book. I mean, they're taking whatever the best price available is. In fact, in most cases, the price they're betting is off market. They're betting on this sports book because they can't get this number anywhere else. That's specifically why they're placing the bet, because it's off market. So the idea that you're going to beat the sports book 4 different times simultaneously, the same exact sports book, it's kind of fantasy land. It's just not going to happen. Most of the people who are placing parlays are placing them with the simple mentality of, I don't have a lot of money and I want to win a lot of money. It's that simple. They just want there to be a big plus number on it, which is obviously a great recipe for creating terrible gamblers. That's that type of thinking is a big reason of why sportsbooks make so much money. I mean, look up the earnings from sportsbooks year after year. They're killing it with parlays. That's their moneymaker. Parlay bettors are just donating to them. Not only is a huge percent of the sportsbook's earnings coming from parlays, but to break it down even further than that, the percentage of parlay bettors that are winning is almost 0%. It's legitimately almost zero. Sports bettors as a whole, I mean, we're talking about 2%. That's what percent of sports bettors are actually winning. And if you're talking about specifically parlay bettors, it's basically 0%. I mean, the sports books are just cleaning up. Why do you think parlay bettors are always getting the bonuses? Like, sign up bonus, profit boost, like all these bonuses. They don't care. They'll give you free money if you're betting like that. All they care about, just please keep betting with us. Please keep betting with us if you're a bettor like that. They love you. Meanwhile, if you're playing straights and beating their numbers, beating the closing line, it's the exact opposite. You're going to get limited eventually. Eventually, they're going to say, you can't bet here anymore. We don't want your action. There's a reason for that, because people who are betting these parlays with a negative 17% hold, they will gladly open their doors and welcome you with open arms. That's why it's extremely important to have realistic goals when you're doing this. And I'm going to give you an example you can visualize. So a 3% edge is excellent. That's an absolutely, if you have a 3% edge, if you're beating sides and totals by 3%, you could probably quit your job. I mean, that is excellent. To give you an idea, this MLB season, I have a 1.3, 1.4% edge. That's the percent at which I'm beating the closing line. Now, I only use widely available sports books, which limits me a little bit because obviously I have thousands of people tailing me, so I don't want to take numbers they can't get. That's not quite sharp enough to bet professionally. That's pretty good. I mean, most people would say, hey, that's pretty sharp, but it's not really sharp enough to bet professionally. For this example, we're going to use a 3% edge. Now, I split this example into 3 based on how aggressive of a gambler we're talking about, because not everyone's the same. Some people have different thresholds on edges they're willing to play. But let's say a gambler that places 5 units worth of bets a day with a 3% edge, an MLB season, let's say, is 180 days. They're going to finish the season up 21 units. That's 27 units. That's 27% of their bankroll. 7 units a day at a 3% edge is going to yield you 37.8 units. That's 37.8% of your bankroll. 10 units a day, so more of an aggressive gambler, 54 units. That's 54% of your bankroll. So, to give you an idea, and this is where all the root of all problem gamblers comes from. If you start the season with, let's say, $10,000, your goal is to finish the season with $12,700. That would be a great season. That's 5 units a day at a 3% edge. Excellent season. That's professional level handicapping right there. $10,000 to start the season, $12,700 to end the season. These are the type of goals you need to have, or you're going to lose. The problem is we have a lot of people who want to get into sports betting but don't have much. They don't have a bankroll. They don't have the funds. So they're like, the season's starting. I have $500. I'm trying to turn that into 10 grand this year. If you bet like that, first of all, you'll never turn $500 into 10 grand in a season without betting extremely irresponsibly in a way that you're almost certain to lose and go bust over time. So those types of bettors are the types that casinos love. You're not going to turn $500 into 10 grand. You're just not going to do it. Stop trying. The way to do it would be try to turn $500 into $700 in the season. Then by the time next season rolls around, you got that $700, maybe add a few hundred more. Now you start the season with $1,200. Try to turn that $1,200 into $1,700. That's realistic gambling. That's how professional bettors do it. They just did that over and over and over again to the point where, I mean, when you see a line move at Pinnacle or Circa, that means a professional bettor or a sharp betting group just bet 6-7 figures. I mean, huge numbers. They'll have 7 figures on a single side in an NFL game. So we're talking big time money. They did it like this, slowly but surely, 3% edge. And if you're rocking with a $500 bankroll, that means $5 units. $10 would be a huge bet. That's the way. I mean, that's the only way to bet to avoid going bust.
One last thing I forgot to add. So there are examples of sharp sports bettors using parlays to their advantage. That doesn't really apply to like that. That doesn't really describe the people in the comments just like building these big slips. Like obviously those people are going to lose. But I'll give you an example. So I remember a few years ago, there was a guy who he was placing 32 same game parlays every single NFL week. Every single quarterback, he was betting each quarterback to throw 4 touchdowns and parlaying it in the same game parlay with the same quarterback to throw 300 yards in the game. And the reason he was doing that is he calculated in his whatever that if a quarterback throws for 4 touchdowns, the chances that they also throw for 300 yards is like 96%. It's very rare that a quarterback would throw 4 touchdowns and not 300 yards. But the sportsbook where he found this edge, probably FanDuel or DraftKings or whatever, I don't even remember, but they were pricing it as a parlay. So he was taking, let's say, Matt Stafford to throw 4 touchdowns at plus 600, parlaying it with Matt Stafford to throw 300 yards at plus 1,200 for the parlay, when in reality, if Matt Stafford throws for 4 touchdowns, he's most likely also going to throw for 300 yards. So there's an example of the sportsbooks mispricing a parlay with 2 correlated legs. That would be an example of a sharp sports bettor using a parlay to enhance their edge. It is possible. I'm just saying that doesn't describe the people in the comments that are just putting a bunch of picks together trying to win a bunch of money. And another thing I want to include, I have friends that place dumb parlays. Gambling is fun, and if you're somebody that just likes to place parlays to have fun, more power to you, man. By no means am I trying to tell you that you're doing it wrong. If you're having fun and that's the way you like to bet, like I said, some of my closest friends bet like that. And they're aware of it. If I say, that's that's awful, right? They'll be like, yeah, I know. I'm dumb. I'm having fun. So by no means am I who am I to sit here and be like, you're doing it wrong? This is specifically directed at people who are trying to turn a profit. And obviously people who fit that description aren't going to be placing parlays. I mean, the math I just went through, that's 11th grade statistics. It's not like that's some advanced calculus. That's very basic math. Nobody smart is placing those parlays and giving the casino a 17% hold and expecting to win.
All right, real quick. Got a comment in yesterday. Yeah, there we go. That example I gave at the end, by the way, extremely rare that you're going to find legs of a same game parlay that are correlated that the sportsbook hasn't. Normally, those SGPs have some of the highest. I saw somebody that was talking about SGPs, and he said NFL SGPs have an average hold of 30 to 40%, which is insane, which means if you build a same game parlay and the payout's plus 400, the break even payout is like plus 750. So you're getting robbed on those. Yeah. Someone goes, I hit parlays daily, bro. Go to your account settings and go look at your long profit loss. Everyone, have a good one. Thanks for watching. I have a video up where I talk about Tuesday night's college football games. You want to check it out.